Class. In today's class, we are going to discuss global scope in JavaScript. As I told you that all these classes are being conducted under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. Thrice of a week, 3 days of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. in June. Okay. So 3 days of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. As I have discussed that these classes will be so useful to the students who are residing rural areas and who are totally away of the net. So generally you need to pay a lot of money to there. So you will not be offered to pay the money to for these expensive classes. So I started a foundation, Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation in 2023, January 14, to inculcate the programming knowledge, especially over the programming languages like Java, Python. Generally, they will be used as backend programming. Okay. And for the front-end programming, we can use the HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Other than languages, C, C++, like there's so many languages are there. So these classes will be conducted until my last breath of life. Okay. So I hope that these classes will be so useful to all of you. Okay. These classes will be so useful, and especially those are totally away of they are residing in rural areas and they are totally away of the network centers, and especially they are not able to afford the money. So these classes will be conducted thrice of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. in Zoom. So already I have shared the link, Zoom class link to all of you. That is the permanent link. And once I have shared that link, you can download the Zoom app in your either in mobile and even though in tab, if you have the tab, laptop, desktop computer. And simply by clicking on that link, you can join my classes and you can learn the programming coding skills. Okay. If you don't have any computer, so it doesn't mean you can use your mobile as a computer. Nowadays, whatever the mobiles you are using, they have a lot of good processors. And nowadays the mobiles they are coming with enough RAM, high RAMs. Okay. Random access memory 64 16 GB, 8 GB, like that memory. Nowadays, mobiles they are equipped with high end RAM and high end processors. So the mobiles nowadays they can be used as computers, and so many apps are there in the mobile. You can download them for the JavaScript. Um, you can write the code by while using of the web apps. So many web websites are there. You go there and you can use like w3schools.com, javascript, java tpoint.com, like there's so many websites are there. You go there and you can write the code there in the web online editor. You write the code and edit the code and you can check the code there. Okay. And if you want to use Java, and there is a somewhat app is there in the mobile. Okay, you can download from the Google Play Store for the PyDride app. You can download in from the Google Play Store to run to learn the Python coding. Okay, like there's so many for your C, C++, so many apps, different apps. The apps are there in the mobile. You want to learn all that languages. Don't be nervous that if you don't have any computer, laptop, you are not able to purchase such type of laptop and desktop computers. You are not able to pay the money. Simply in your mobile, you can learn the programming by downloading simply mobile apps for the languages. As I told you that for the Python, PyDride app is there. and for JVDrive for Java, C language, C app is there, C++, app, Android. Okay. So like that, you can develop your coding skills simply by using of your mobile. Okay. No need to purchase laptop, desktop. Simply you can use your mobile as a coding practicing device. And one more point is that if question is that somebody else they have asked me that, sir, who are eligible to attend these classes? Anybody can attend the classes. Retired persons, housewives, sixth class students. Somebody else, one student has asked, sir, I am studying in the sixth class, so can I learn this language? Yeah, you surely can learn the language. Why? Because already you are able to, you are very much efficient to handle the gadgets like mobiles. So, so in the sixth class also you can learn, and somebody else like what retired employees. Somebody else has they have asked me that, sir, I am at 60 years of age now. Whether I am be able to learn this language? Yeah, sure, you can learn that if you are very much interested. Maybe at your time in those early days, that moment, due to your responsibilities and due to your family burdens, that moment you were unable to learn the program. Now, if you are at the retired age, you can learn the programming. And housewives, some are have asked me that, sir, I am the housewife, and in those early days, I have completed the 10th class only. Then I was married, got married. Now I am residing with my son, with my granddaughter and children. Now, whether I can keep my efforts, surely. So there is no any age limit to learn the programming language. It is entirely depend upon your skills, your understanding levels. Okay, if you are especially the interest, focus and devotion, concentration. So today's topic is in JavaScript. As I told you that JavaScript, this is the programming language mostly used for to develop the web pages. So as I told you that there are the three, there are the mic append, amma. So there are the three languages mostly. That is what one is the HTML, hypertext markup language, CSS cascading style sheet, and JavaScript. So these three, if anybody wants to become the web developer, if anybody wants to become the web developer, surely you must be able to understand these three languages: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. If you want to become the web developer, you must be able to understand these three languages. Without these, don't expect that you will become a good web developer. So HTML is used to develop the web page, and CSS cascading style sheet is used to style the web page, and JavaScript will be used to develop the interactive and dynamic web pages. Okay. So in the JavaScript, I have conducted so many classes. So now in today's topic is what global scope. So let us try to understand what is global scope. So variables generally declared globally outside of a function or outside of any block. Okay. So they have global scope. So what is global scope? Scope is what generally how you are able to access the variables. Okay. The accessibility of the variables is called scope. Means how you are able to access the variables. That is called accessibility. Means visibility. So in JavaScript, variables have three types of scope. One is global scope, function scope, block scope. First of all, let us try to understand global scope. Variables declared globally means outside of the function. So they have generally global scope. If you have declared the variables outside of a function, not inside of a function. Okay, so generally that variables have the global scope. So global variables can be accessed from anywhere in JavaScript program because they have declared outside of the program, outside of the function. So that's why these variables can be accessed from anywhere in the JavaScript program. So generally in the previous classes, I told you the variables declared with var, let, and const are these are the three keywords mostly used to create the variables. Okay, by these three keywords var, let, const, we can simply create the variables. So if you create with the var keyword, let keyword, constant keyword, okay, if you create the variables by using these three keywords var, let, constant outside of a function, they must have the global scope. Okay, so generally what happens, try to understand. So let us see. First of all, as I told you that here, this is a function. Generally, I told you that once a function is created, so within that function, whatever the code we have written, that code will be displayed on the screen. So function is what I told you, that function is nothing but a block of code will be executed. A block of code. It may be block of code means one line of code, two lines of code. Even though 100 lines of code is called a block of code. Even though one line of code is called a block of code. So that block of code will be kept with a name, and whenever you call with that name, the total line of code will be executed. That is called functions. So in the programming, to make ease of programming, so many predefined functions will be available for the programmer. Okay, understood that. If you whenever you want to write the code, it may be any language, it may be C, C++, Java, Python, C, any language. Okay. So every programming language support a lot of libraries. Okay. That libraries will be rich with a lot of functions. Okay, methods. So not only C language, C++, even though Python, Java also, they are very rich in the library, so that you can write the code very easily by using that functions. Okay. So that's why function is what, as I told you, that a block of code will be executed. So now try to understand how the global scope will be executed. As I told you, that scope is nothing but, so how you are able to access the variables. So that is called the visibility of the variables, how you are able to access the variables, that is called the scope. What do you mean by global scope? I told you that if you define the variable outside of a function, so that variable has the global scope, means you can access that variable in the programming anywhere. Okay, you can use that variable in the program anywhere. Okay, because you have declared that variable outside of a function. So let us see. So first of all, I told you that JavaScript, the code will be written inside of the script tag. That is very important. The code will be written inside of the script start tag and script end tag. Start tag and script end tag. So inside of one, I told you that one start tag and one close tag, both will be called as an element. In the HTML language, everything is an element. So in the element, every element has two tags, start tag and end tag. So JavaScript code will be written inside of the script element. Means script element has one script start tag and one end tag. So inside of the code, whatever you have written, that is part of your, this is the JavaScript code. How many lines of code written here in JavaScript element? Let car name, one line of statement. Otherwise, one instruction. Statement or instruction, both are same. So one statement, second statement, third, okay, fourth, fifth. So five statements we have written inside of the script element. So like that, we can write many scripts. Many script. It is compulsory to write the JavaScript code inside of the script elements. So these scripts, they need to written under the HTML element. Because I told you that if you want to become a good web developer, you must be familiar with all the programming languages, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. These three are very compulsory. These three languages are very compulsory for you, really, if you want to become the good coder, programmer, good web developer. So first of all, we need to write the HTML code. Okay, inside of the HTML, bodies element to be defined. Okay, under this is the initial code to write the HTML, exclamation mark doc type HTML. Okay, this is the first line of code. This line of code indicates that this is the HTML document. Means every web page is a HTML document, every web page. So this line of code indicates that this is the HTML document. And then HTML, we need to start with HTML element start tag. And once we have started with HTML element start tag, and at the end of that, it is to be terminated with the HTML end tag. Okay. And then after, inside of the HTML start tag, we need to write the body. Body element must be started with body start tag. So inside of the body start tag, whatever the content we write, the code will be executed by read by the browser. Okay. So many have asked me that, sir, whether I need to install, download the JavaScript. No need to install, no need to download the JavaScript, especially in your web page, wherever in your website, in your computer, wherever you are accessing any browsers. Okay, Google Chrome, any browser, Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, whatever the browser you are using, that browser has inbuilt JavaScript. Means that browser will be able to read that code you have written. Okay, so no need to, specially no need to download JavaScript. So inside of the body, whatever the code we will write, that will be displayed on the screen. So here, this is the header section. So inside of the header section, whatever the code we have written, that will be displayed on the screen. So every header element has two tags. This is the header start tag. This is the header end tag. End tag, difference between start tag and end tag. The difference is end tag will be closed with forward slash. Okay, that is the difference. So next is what? Paragraph section. Paragraph element. So paragraph, same paragraph, every paragraph element, it has one start tag and one end tag. So inside of this, whatever the content we will write, that will be displayed on the screen. So next is what? Inside of the script, one ID, that is very important. ID is an attribute. It is to be assigned with a value. Okay, this is any value. It is very important. By this value means ID attribute. It is to be assigned with a value. Any value, XYZ, your name, my name. Here just passed demo. If you have written my name, your name, that is a value. that value that is to be passed for the id attribute, and that value will be used in further inside of the method. Whenever if you want to get display the result on this web page, so whenever we use get element by id method, this is the mostly used javascript html method which will be used to find out the html element. Okay, inside of that method we need to use that value which is passed to your id attribute in the paragraph section. Okay, by that value this method get element by id predefined method mostly used in javascript. This is the html method, and this method will use that value of id attribute to find the html element. So within that element, whatever the HTML content is there, if you want to get display on the screen, so that moment you need to use that inner HTML attribute. So for that inner HTML attribute, whatever the HTML element is passed here, car name is a HTML JavaScript variable here. This is the HTML. This HTML car name is a variable which is declared inside of the script tag. So as I told you that this is the total code written inside of the script. This is the JavaScript code. Here, this is the car name. It is a variable created by let keyword. And for this variable, value passed is a string value. Volvo is a string. Why? Why we can say that simply it is string? Because string is nothing but a sequence of characters, English like characters. So if they anything kept inside of the double quotation or single quotation marks, that is called a string, English like characters. Okay. Now car name is a variable created and Volvo string value passed, and termination is very important, semicolon. Okay. Now one function created, function name is called my function. Okay. So my function created, and we are function my function. So what do you mean of this? Whenever I am calling that function, my function, inside of that function, the whatever the code is written, okay, inside of that function, the function name is equal to my function, and function is created with the function keyword. It is compulsory. While you, if you want to create any function in JavaScript, you need to use the keyword function. So function name can be any name. Your name, my name, XYZ doesn't mean Vasu. Your name can, my name, anything can be used as a function name. Okay. So after the function name, these parentheses, brackets, they are very compulsory. Why? Because I told you that all in the previous classes, function method, they must be enclosed with the, they must be suffixed with the brackets. Inside of the flower braces, this get element by id method used with this demo. Demo is a value passed, and inside of the inner HTML, this HTML element, okay, that is a variable passed here, and somewhat string is added. So here, this will be, this is the result. It will be displayed on the screen. So here, try to understand. Car name is a variable. It is created outside of your function. This is the function. Outside of the function, it is created. So this, its scope is what, global scope. Why? Because this car name written created outside of your function. So this variable's scope is global. Means this variable can be accessed anywhere in the program. Okay. Understood that. So it is declared outside of a function. So I have called this inside of the function. Okay. So whatever the value passed to this corner, this is the value passed to this corner. Okay. So now we will try to remove this total code. Total, we will we will delete this total code. So this is the code window and this is the result window. So here, so first of all, I am going to write the code here. So as I told you that first of all, we need to write word exclamation mark, that is very important. And then doc type capital letter. This is the basic syntax to write this is the basic syntax to declare the HTML. Inside of this, we need to mention here HTML small letters. It indicates that this is the HTML document web page. Next, we need to mention this. This is the HTML, okay, HTML page, and it is to be terminated with the HTML end tag, and inside of this body section, body, okay, body section, body, every body section has one start tag and end tag, okay, body end tag. So, and then inside of this, so one header section that is very important. Inside of this, whatever the content we will write, that will be displayed. Okay. Inside of this, whatever the content. Here our topic is what, global scope. Global scope is what? Global scope means global scope. As I told you that global scope indicates what, how to access the variables, from outside of the global scope indicates that how you are able to access the variables. So global scope means how the accessibility, how we access the variables. Okay, that is called global scope means how we access the variable. So this will display on the screen. Okay, because you have written this content inside of the header section. Now, and then I told you that one paragraph section, inside of this paragraph section, ID attribute, it must be assigned with a value. Suppose simply you write a value. This value will be used to find the HTML content. Okay. Now paragraph section closed here. Okay, now. So this ID attribute passed with a value. This value will be used when this, I told you the document, because every web page is a document. So get element by ID get. This is the predefined method of JavaScript. Element by ID method. Okay. Now dot get element by ID method. I told you that this is the mostly used JavaScript HTML method to display the content on the screen. Okay. So here I told you that this attribute value, this ID attribute value, this is to be passed here as it is. Okay. Wow, so as it is. What do you mean as it is? Because here there is no any space here. So if you write, this is wrong because you have given one space, one empty space. So no, you need to pass proper. Now what happened? And then inner HTML, this inner HTML is an attribute and that is to be passed with what? This inner HTML attribute, it must be passed with the HTML JavaScript element. So element I have not declared. So first of all, we need to write the code in JavaScript. I told you that script code will be written inside of the script tags. Okay. Every JavaScript code must be written inside of the script, that is script closed here. So inside of this, whatever the code, so this is the JavaScript. You can comment here, JavaScript code, JavaScript code will be written. JavaScript code begins from here. JavaScript code begins from here. Okay. Begins, JavaScript code begins from here. Where the JavaScript code begins inside of the script tag, script element. So now here, so as I told you that we are discussing about global scope. Global scope means how to access the variable. What is the your access ability? How you are accessing the variables? I told you that variables can be created with the let keyword, otherwise any let keyword, const keyword, var keyword. Even though var keyword also, let, var, const. These three keywords will be used in JavaScript to create the variables. So let fruit is a variable created with the let keyword. Now this fruit is assigned with any value. Any value fruit, well, suppose papaya, I have taken papaya. Papaya is a fruit. So now it is to be terminated with the semicolon. So what happened here? Variable created, okay, with the let keyword, and it is assigned with a value. Now what is the JavaScript content? This is the JavaScript content. Now this content to be passed here, fruit. So see what happened. One variable created, okay. This variable created outside of a function. Function, you call that function. Any function. Function, I told you that. Okay. Okay. Now, function, you have created the variable. This variable created outside of this function. Okay. But so it is once you have created a variable outside of the function. So this variable can be used. Its scope is what you can call this, you can use this variable anywhere inside of the program, outside of the program. So I want to use this function variable inside of this program. Okay, where? So this is used inside of this. It is called inside of this program. Okay, now on function name, this is the function name. This is very important. Function name, any name, you can keep any name for the function. You can keep any name because every function must be assigned with a name. Okay, this is the function name. So inside of this, we need to create a function, my function. Okay, I told you that function and method both will be suffixed with the brackets. Both will be suffixed with the brackets. Okay. Now what happened? Okay. So now if you run this code, we need to get this value stored, whatever the store value stored in this fruit. Fruit is a variable. Okay. The find out the error. So find out the error. That is very important. Okay. Here what happened? One function is created. Okay. Now inside of this, so see, you are able to get the papaya. So what it means that simply it is very simple to understand that one variable created, variable name is fruit, and variable is, I told you that in JavaScript there are three keywords: let keyword, constant keyword, var keyword. 3 will be used to create the variables. Fruit variable created and value assigned, it is terminated. And function called here. Function is created, my function, and it is called. So this variable created outside of this function. Okay. So its scope is what? Its scope is anywhere you can use. Okay. So here simply you can keep one if you want to write any string. Okay, string. Okay, fruit name is equals fruit name. Fruit name is concatenation. Okay. So now this string will be displayed on the screen. The fruit name is papaya. So this is the class today. For today class is what what is scope. Scope means recap of the class. Scope is what? Scope means how you are able to access that variable, whether you are able to access that variable outside of the function, inside of the function. If you have declared the variable outside of the function, surely you will be able to access that variable inside and outside in the program. So that's why it is called, its scope is called global scope. Okay. So today's class is this. Okay. If you have any doubts, already I have given my number 9110398650. So you can dial to my number and you can ask the doubts. Okay. So as I told you, the classes will be conducted thrice of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. in the Zoom. So you can attend the classes and you can ask the doubts. And this is the platform you can develop your coding skills if you want to enhance your knowledge. If you want to, if you want to improve your coding skills, okay. So this is the right platform for you and your children. Anybody, either they are retired persons, if they are anybody, housewives, studying, any student in the 6th class, 7th, 8th, 9th class. So it is the right time for them if they want to develop their skills, programming skills. And these classes will be conducted until last breath of life. So that is a good platform for all of you. And I hope that all of you can use this platform for your coding, enhancing coding skills. Until last breath of life, this platform, these classes will be conducted under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. Under my foundation, not only coding classes and Yadava, Parichaya Vedika, and astrology classes. One astrology class, free classes will be conducted on every Monday sharply at 8 p.m. So, and that is what one more class that will be conducted over health and food awareness. Twice of a week will be conducted Tuesday and Thursday at sharply at 8 p.m. in June. Okay, so these services all will be, I hope that will very useful to all of you. So this is the, whenever you want to attend my classes, already I have shared a permanent link, Zoom class link to all of you in the social media platforms, in WhatsApp groups, Twitter, Facebook, even though in my YouTube channel also I have shared that permanent link. So simply you